Hi everyone, Unimaze here. Well folks, week 9 was a train wreck. If this were a game, I would get the epic fail achievement. I didn't stick to my diet, I skipped studying, and I reversed my progress faster than a YouTube rewind. So what happened? Well, FOMO happened, the sneaky little feeling that the life outside my study desk is just too exciting got the better of me. So I went on full snack mode and skipped study hours like they were the optional DLC. And now I can sit here and reflect on this glorious mess. But hey, it's not all doom and gloom. I still managed to stick to my schedule of reading and studying most days. I haven't completely fallen off the wagon, I'm just dangling on the side of it. So let's break down this week's numbers, spoiler they're bad, and see how we can turn this ship around next week. If you're new here, you can check out the playlist down in the description where you can see my successful previous weekly updates. If failure is really not your thing, maybe you should skip this one. And with that warning said, let's start with Japanese. So, Japanese study time was 2 hours this week, a whopping 2 hours. And that was just enough time for me to learn how to say I'm sorry to my ancestors in Japanese. I reviewed months and days of the month from the previous lesson and I moved on to lesson 9, which was all about days, weeks, and years. And the plan for next week is to finish lesson 9 and then repeat everything until I can confidently say I failed week 9 in fluent Japanese. Math was slightly better this week. I spent 4 hours solving quadratic equations like my life depended on it, and then I moved on to the mid-chapter checkpoint for the equalities and inequalities chapter. The plan for next week is to start with the other types of equations, because apparently math never runs out of ways to torture me. Computer science was surprisingly productive this week, coming in at 5 hours. I finished week 9, which was Flask, and I finished the 2 problems from that problem set, and now all that is left is 1 lecture and then to start my final project for CS50. So speaking about the final project, the idea is to create a website where you will be able to track what I've done every week or what I've failed at every week. To do that, I will need to take another web development course because apparently web development isn't all about copy-pasting code from Stack Overflow. Stay tuned for next week when we dive into that chaos. Cybersecurity. Yeah, I spent only 1 hour this week preparing for the AZ500 Microsoft exam, and I will need to delay that exam because apparently relaxing on the couch is my true calling. Let's move on swiftly to reading before anybody notices. I finally picked up 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson, a book that has been chilling on my shelf longer than some of my bad habits, and spoiler alert, it is not my favorite read. Total reading time this week was 5 hours of trying not to fall asleep mid-paragraph. Full review coming next week when I finish the book. Okay, brace yourself for the shameful totals. Study time 12 hours, total 157.5 hours in January. For the reading time 5 hours, total 52.5 hours in January. For the fasting 0 hours, total still at 954 hours because apparently fasting doesn't include inhaling chips at midnight. And finally for the weight, I've gained 1.6 kilograms this week and total loss in January now down to 6.3 kilograms. My scale is judging me harder than X does bad takes. And that wraps up week 9, the worst week since I've started this journey. Honestly, I think week 2 or 3 were really bad, but this week takes the cake. Literally, I ate cake this week. But hey, high hopes for the week 10 redemption arc incoming. Subscribe if you wanna see if I bounce back next week or I spiral further into this snack-induced chaos. The next update should drop March 17th, unless there is no video, which means I failed again. See you next time, or not.